So obviously we have our awards program today, and it's actually going to be really exciting with a lot of different project presentations. And throughout we have some surprise raffle prizes that will be popping up. So you have to be present to win. So I'll be in just a few moments copying everyone's name over to our raffle program, and that should be really fun. We have some really great prizes, including our grand prize of a Monarch Dunes golf package. So it's going to be a good event. So thank you for joining us. I will just really quickly share that our next meeting will be on December 10th, and it is going to be an overview of the Laguna County Sanitation District plant expansion. So just keep an eye out for that information, and that's all I have for today. So enjoy the program. Brianna, you want to take it from here?
Okay. All right. Well, after quite some time, we're finally having our Project and Professional of the Year awards for 2019. We had a wonderful program set up for March, and we all know what happened in March. And then we kept hoping upon hope that we could get back in person to have that fun event, but it just wasn't happening. So now here we are doing it virtually, and we are going to make the best of it. We have a great program and some great projects and Professional of the Year awards to give out. So I want to thank everybody for their submissions. And the folks, this is going to be relatively interactive. So the applicants and some of the teams are going to be speaking today. So excited to hear their perspective on each project, kind of bring these projects to life for us. So we'll get started. Our first project is in the environmental category. This is for the Gibraltar Reservoir Meter. So this was a project put on by the City of Santa Barbara, M&S Engineers and Davis Construction. I see most folks on this call. And then Kenyon Construction was also involved on the contractor side. So really great team. I mean, this is an outstanding team of folks here. And to present today, I believe Carson is going to present. Is he on? Or maybe Matt or Nick?
I'm on. Nick's on the call.
Okay, I had written down that Carson was gonna lead us through this, but
yeah. Hi, Brianna. This is Matt, and I did speak with Carson earlier today, and he was planning on being on. So maybe he's just a little tardy, but I'm sure Nick and I could probably ad lib until he shows up.
Okay. So I guess if you wanted to, we have up here on the screen just some of the project highlights that we picked out. But if you want to share a little bit about the project, what the goal was, and maybe some of the challenges during construction.
Sure, I can start off with just a couple of points on kind of the technical background of the project. So this project it's how City of Santa Barbara conveys water from Gibraltar Reservoir through their tunnel system to the city. And the prior to this project being implemented, oh man, there's Carson. I don't want to steal his thunder. He just joined. Before I get into any details, I'll let him take over.
Okay, no, you're doing a great intro there, Nick. But yeah, the image to the left, we're kind of going through the timeline here. The image to the left was, you can barely see in there, there was a sharp crested weir. And if you look up at the top, you can see some roots hanging into that. Anyway, the elevation across that weir, I think we had a total measurement of, 6 or 8 inches to go from 0 to 10 million gallons a day. And that was a challenge to get the accuracy right. And what the Bureau of Reclamations was wondering, it was questioning our accuracy, or wanting to be more confident in the flow measurements. And so that's what drove this project in the beginning. And so it was a challenge to try and see how we could, get inside this building or find a flow flow meter that would work. And essentially we dammed up that water and brought the pipe, put this 30-inch pipe through the side of the building, through the bulkhead, and would, then flow through this manufactured H-flume, and which had a, standard manufacturing and accuracy tolerances, and much easier to maintain and calibrate and those things. So, yeah, and I'm not sure what else. Didn't have a totally prepared speech here.
That's awesome. Were there any challenges during construction? That it seems like a pretty tricky phasing and construction project.
You want to talk about that, Matt?
Yeah, sure. So I'm sure Nick and Carson can address more of the design side, but once it was handed off to the construction phase, Kenyon Construction out of Lompoc was the general, and they did a great job. But a couple of the challenges were fairly obvious. The remoteness of that location was probably the most obvious challenge, and not just in terms of procurement and equipment and materials and supplies and being close to home, but also communication wise. There's no cell coverage back there. There's nothing. You could sometimes get to a particular spot where you get coverage for a second, but really nothing to depend on communication wise. So coordination of any deliveries or any issues that come up all kind of had to be prepared for ahead of time. And then any issues that developed on the spot, we had to figure out independently, which was kind of fun and interesting in its own right anyway. But Kenyon did a great job given those challenges of preparing and getting everything lined out and laid out so that they could execute. So they organized well, and then they went and executed well. And also in addition to that, there was a bit of coordination with water. There were specific shutdowns for that supply, and so the work had to be done during the window of that shutdown, and the supply was dependent on adhering to the shutdown. So Kenyon coordinated well with the schedules and then actually sticking to that schedule. So all around, big kudos to Adam Harleman was the project manager for Kenyon. So kudos to Adam Harleman and Kenyon in executing well.
Yeah, so you can see the one photo, the center photo that shows the H-flume flowing. That is actually, because we were taking delivery of water this whole time. And so, as Matt said, we shut down so they could do specific pieces of work. They needed to break into the existing pipe and then, pour this vault. But I think this one says after the H-flume, there's no building there. We're flowing water, but we got that going, but there's no CMU building. They've got the slab and that, but we started flowing water again to supply the city at that point. And then we brought it up, and we had the tech, the meter supplier come up and kind of certify it, essentially that it's level. We had little jacking screws so we could level out the meter and feel good that the flow was accurate. And then they built the building around it. So I think we built the door large enough that we could get this thing in and out if we needed to. But,
hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Well, that's fantastic. That's really creative, and what a beautiful place to work too, to have a work site. Okay, so now we're going to test our skills, I think. Thank you very, very much. And the plaques should have been sent out. So, we have one more project before we get into our raffle. So, still in the environmental category, this is the Arroyo Grande Creek Channel Waterway Management Program. It's the County of San Luis Obispo with Nola Anguskerger and Canon consultants, John Evans and Evan Lowe, and then Cry Construction did the construction. So we have quite a few slides in here. I believe John Evans is going to be presenting today, and you'll have to walk me through these slides. So
Okay, I'll tell you when to start. Can you hear me okay?
Sure can.
Okay, all right, let's go to the first one then. Okay, so the county called the project the Arroyo Grande Creek Channel Waterway Management Program. And as you mentioned, county was the agency, the primary agency responsible for the project. Okay, next slide. And as you also mentioned, both Canon and then also a Waterways Consulting, who did all the initial hydrology analysis of Arroyo Grande Creek. And then they also came up with initial elevations of what the levees on both sides of AG Creek needed to be more storm worthy. The contractor, and actually there was two in 2019, it was Cry Construction. And then this year, just wrapping up phase 2 is Ramina Construction. Next slide. So here's where this is. The red line without the arrow is Arroyo Grande Creek as it extends upstream, and then there's a section of Los Barros Creek that ties into it on the easterly side. And in 2001, where that arrow is, it was a big storm year, and there was a breach in the southerly levee of AG Creek, and it flooded a bunch of the farmland to the south of the creek. Next slide. So a little background, and this is basically the picture of what happened when the levee finally breached back in 2001. But the channel was originally constructed in 1961. And then after that time, one of the things that Arroyo Grande Creek did is, rather than just staying in its primary channel during low flows, it would tend to meander. And so while it was meandering at low velocities, it was dropping sediment out. And at the same time, vegetation over the years was growing. And it was very difficult for the county to go in and do maintenance on Arroyo Grande Creek because, among other things, there was 3 federally listed species in the creek. This levee failure that is shown on the picture is a little bit to the west of where the Union Pacific Railroad runs through there. And at the time of the failure, and I'm not sure what the flood event or the storm event was back in 2001, but it's estimated that AG Creek at this location only held a 2 to 5 year storm before the levee started cresting. And so the county had to do a lot of things over the years with sandbagging and having people out there sometimes day and night to try to keep the water where it was supposed to go. But in 2001, the rain was so severe that didn't happen. As I mentioned, there was property damage in the millions, actually, to both farmland and then some residential properties on the southerly side of the levee. Fortunately, the northern levee held, and Arroyo Grande Creek, for those that don't know, it's pretty much the southern boundary of Oceano. So there's a lot of population to the south or to the north, and then to the south, it's mainly just farm fields with some occasional residences there. Next slide, please. So to solve the problem, several things needed to happen. First of all, there was funds that needed to be obtained, and through 3 grants and also from the funds raised through a flood control district that was established after the levee breach, $8.3 million was raised for the work. And the work basically consists of 3 things. One was to clear and clean up portions of the creek. The second was to fortify the levees. And the third is ongoing maintenance. So When the permits were sought, the permits needed to include all three of those aspects, especially the ability to continue to get into the creek and maintain it after the work was done, so that the county didn't find themselves with the same problem that they had over the years, not being able to maintain it adequately. There was quite a bit of community interaction and outreach that occurred with the project, especially with the farm field owners to the south. And then there was a lot of concern by the residents to the north, wanting to make sure that if water did ever breach the levee again, that it was going to head to the south rather than to the north. When the design was put together, it was a joint effort between Canon and Waterways. And after this cross-section actually shows pretty typically of what we were trying to accomplish, where the center of the channel is, which is the primary waterway. We were trying to keep most flow in the primary waterway without meandering in the future. And the way that was done was to actually build a little bit of an embankment next to the primary waterway. The permits through the agencies, and by the way, those included the Army Corps, California Fish and Wildlife, U.S. Fish and Wildlife, and a few other concerned agencies also. But we were not allowed to do work within the primary channel, but directly adjacent to it, there was a berm that was constructed, and then a secondary flow channel up about 1 foot to 1.5 feet higher than the adjacent primary channel, which is where secondary flows would end up over there. So when we got into the construction of the site, and you can go to the next slide here. This is pretty typical of what everything looked like after we went in and removed vegetation. Where it's clear right now, before that was cleared, it looked exactly like it did on the other side of the creek, with a lot of willows and just small shrubs. And so on this cleared area is on the southerly levee. And then you can see kind of down below, there is some log structures, and anchoring those log structures in place are a couple rocks, each about the size of VW bugs, that where the logs are attached to the rocks with steel cables and epoxy inserts. And the purpose of the log structures are to divert the flow back into the primary channel where possible. So this is again a good picture that shows after the vegetation was removed, then there was sediment removal in the secondary channel, and then we cleaned up the sides of the bank. And then, as I mentioned, then the log structures were installed. The next slide, please. One of the unique parts about the design was on the southern levee, which is designed so that it's 1 foot lower than the northern levee. So if flows ever did get so high that the levee was crested, then it would spill over the southern side, and it would flow over this turf reinforcement mat. And this is used by especially the Army Corps of Engineers on a lot of big river and waterway projects nationally. And the idea here is that it prevents scouring. And one of the other things that it does pretty well is it prevents intrusion from rodents that get in there and destabilize the levees. And they love these levees as places to make their home. So this turf reinforcement mat is helping out with that also. When this is all said and done, on the south side of the levee, we're improving the capacity from about a 6.5-year storm up to a 10-year storm with 2 foot of freeboard. And then if you took the freeboard away and you actually looked at when the southern levee would crest. It would crest at its lowest location with about a 16 or 17-year storm. The northern levee is designed to hold a 50 to 100-year storm. Next slide, please. So one of the things, as I mentioned also, that we did was make sure that the county has the ability to go in and maintain the channel. So on a yearly basis, the county is going to continue to monitor how much vegetation has grown back in, estimate what the in values of the creek are, what the creek capacity is from a year-to-year basis, and then be able to go back in and do any kind of maintenance that's necessary to keep the channel as close to its current capacity as possible. And next slide. And that's it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, John, and thank you both for those great entries in the environmental category. Well, I don't have any sound effects here, but we can all clap. Those are both awesome projects. Thank you. And now we're going to test my technology ability here, and Amy is going to hop on for our first raffle.
Yes. Okay. So now bear with me while I share. There we go. Can you see?
Yep.
So I've got all attendees except for Brianna and myself in this wheel, and I'm just going to go ahead and do the first spin, and I will say that Jennifer Rice, you are the winner of our $25 Old Slow Barbecue Company gift card. And we have one more of those that we'll be giving away in just a moment, but I should share that these were all raffle prizes that were given to us for our casino night fundraiser, and we were afraid they were going to expire, so we really wanted to make sure that we were able to get them out to the chapter. And thank you all for sticking with us through this time and continuing to join us on virtual meetings and being part of the chapter. So so yeah, Jennifer, if you could email me your home address or the address where you'd like it shipped, I will get it in the mail.
Woohoo, thanks.
Okay, now we'll get back to our presentation. Oh, I'm clicking too fast here. Here we go. All right. So the next category we have is the structures category. And in this category, we have the Vandenberg Village Community Services District Lift Station number 1. So this is a project for the Vandenberg Village CSD. Phoenix Civil Engineering with John Turner did the design, and R.L. Johnson Construction did the construction. So that was Ronnie Johnson. And we have Michael Garner here today to present this fantastic project. Michael?
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Sure can.
All right, well, thank you for this award. It was unexpected for me, so I appreciate that. My name is Mike Garner. I'm the Ops and Maintenance Manager for Vandenberg Village. And just for anybody who's online who don't know what a lift station is, sewer flows downhill to the treatment plant. Unfortunately, in certain areas, sewer goes into valleys, and you have to have a pump station there to pump it up to the next hill. So here in the village, we have 4 lift stations. This is our primary lift station. It takes care of about a quarter of the village, and we needed to upgrade it because, as you can see on this first slide, you see where they had the new construction over there where it says Falcon Crest Drive and everything. So we had some new homes and we had more flow, so we needed more storage area. So we went out, it was designed by Phoenix Civil Engineering. We sent it out to bid. We got no bids. So we were kind of a little stickler. So my board went ahead and basically made me project manager. I got a new title for this one. So what I did is went to our local contractors. R.L. Johnson has done stuff for us. And I went and hired different contractors in different phases of this. And it took us a couple of months. Here you can see our wet well is where the sewer collects underneath. And then we wanted to go from 1,000 to 7,000, almost 8,000 gallons of additional sewer capacity. Also, we did have a generator on site, but unfortunately on that generator, when we had a power outage, we did have to have somebody respond within 30 minutes. Or that wet well would overflow. And on the picture to the right on the top, you can see the old station in the background and the construction of our new station in the foreground. Right behind that is Davis Creek. It flows year round, so we could not have sewer dumping into that creek. That would have caused a lot of problems. So in our construction, we left that old station there and we kept using it. And then in our new stations, you see areas here, we went to a company called Arc, where we built a new manhole. We were able to build a new wet well, and they came prefab, which makes our job a lot easier. So through all this, we picked up our new lift station. It's a compact lift station through Smith & Lovelace. You see that on your bottom left there. Inside there, there's 2 pumps. I'm sorry, I wish we had more pictures and everything, but that's what we got for now. So, and basically what these pumps do is they rotate. So during the day, that pit below that lift station you see on your left bottom would fill up during the day. And usually on our old lift station, that would come on about every 20 to 30 minutes. A lot running on and off, on and off. There's 2 pumps in there and they rotate back and forth. So what we wanted to do is have more capacity, so we have them coming on for a longer period of time, but being shut off, so we don't have this constant hammering on a pump. So that's why we created the bigger wet well. We also, what we did is on the bottom right picture is the finished product. We put our generator in. It's on an automatic system now. So automatically it will switch over to PG&E during power outage, which protects us from any overflows at all. It's working good. We've had already about 4 or 5 different power outages. It comes on right on time. Everything seems to be working. Another big issue for our guys, this is down in the canyon where there's no lights, was that nice shiny light you see there. That was, the guys love it now. Before we were with flashlights and trying to get down there. So this brought us up to speed and everything. Our other station was over 20 years old. I have replaced our other 2, but they were simply picked up the old station and set a new one on. This was a complete reconstruction of the lift station, so we can get the sewer on down to the city of Lompoc, who does the treatment for us. So it was a challenge. We got it through. We're able to hire a lot of our local contractors, and we got it in for approximately almost $350,000 for the whole project. But again, I appreciate the award, and it's working great.
Well, fantastic. That's a great project. And it's nice that it touched so many people.
Oh yeah.
Is that the plaque in the background there?
Yes, can you see? I was told by Julie, make sure I have it where she could see it.
All right, very good. Well, congratulations to the whole team. That's a fantastic project.
All right, thank you.
Okay, sorry about that, guys. So next up, we have the City of Goleta, Johnny D. Wallace Park. With the City of Goleta, Joanne Plummer was instrumentally involved. On the CM and inspection side, we had Philippine Engineering with Kelly, who will be presenting today. And the contractor was CS Legacy, represented by Greg Strump. So Kelly, you want to take it away?
Yeah, thanks, Brianna. We really appreciate the recognition. And I also just want to say thank you for putting on this program. I really like this every year, and I know you put a lot of work into making this happen, and it's fun to see everybody's projects and be involved every year. So thanks for all your work with it as well. One thing I just want to say at the beginning is one thing I love about my job is when I drive around town, I constantly point out things to my family that I have a part in. And since I have 2 young kids, this project was especially fun because I think they usually humor me at being excited with bridges and flood control and stuff that we do, but I know they're way more excited about a park. So that was fun to be a part of that. So just to give a short background on the project, FE wasn't involved in the design phase of the project. Joanne might speak to that a little bit, but I know that during that phase, there was a lot of public input from workshops and stakeholder meetings that really informed the design and incorporated the varied needs of Old Town residents. And they resulted in a host of amenities in this really small footprint. You can kind of see on the slide there, but there, if you've ever been to this spot, you understand how much is packed in. There's a skate park, a handball, basketball and tennis, bank shot, there's a yoga area, pickleball, a multi-purpose field, a playground, restrooms, fitness equipment. You name the recreational amenity that you want, and it's at this park, and it's really just a 4-acre footprint. The city of Goleta also installed a mid-block crossing on Kellogg for safety and slowing traffic on Kellogg, since the park is across from a condensed low-income housing, and there's low visibility due to street parking there. Some of the unseen components that are on the project here are bioswales and underground gravel infiltration trenches to capture and hold the majority of the site runoff. There's actually no storm drains that capture and release water on this, so it's all infiltration. And then the bike path along the creek, it was also constructed a permeable asphalt. And the key trees you can see at the kind of lower right-hand corner, the sister witness tree is the largest known California sycamore in the US. So we had to be careful of that during grading. For the construction phase of the project, the biggest challenge on this one was time. The construction contract started in May, and 200 working days landed us in early March. And the city had grant funding deadlines expiring at the end of March. So that really didn't allow for any delay beyond 2 weeks, weather or otherwise, which is a challenge on any project, especially a large grading project that spans winter. And then the first hurdle encountered on this during construction was nesting birds, which delayed tree removal, which I know almost everybody here is probably familiar with, combined with a close second, which was utility relocations, and then followed up by discovery of additional unknown wells that had to be properly abandoned. So it was really a collective effort to rephase the grading to continue construction. Contractor relations on this one were critical, which it is on every project, but especially on this because of those funding deadlines, we had to have a very good relationship with the contractor to navigate unexpected conditions that would come up and to expedite schedule on each one of those, along with keeping the costs as low as possible to the city. And then the slow start to the grading, because of those issues, were compounded by a wet winter. We actually, on this particular winter, had 19 working days lost due to wet weather conditions. However, we made it by the skin of our teeth, largely as a result of combining a negotiation of a large grading claim with expediting schedule. So substantial completion was on March 29th. With a public ribbon cutting ceremony that was huge on March 30th. So nothing like cutting it close, giving yourself a day. But despite the focus on schedule, I really think what made this project ultimately a big success was the upfront planning and community engagement, coupled with the community outreach during construction. Sometimes in construction, as we all know, the public has mixed response. And I would say that overall, the positive community response and the high engagement we got along the way made this one of the most fun projects I've worked on personally. So I know Joanne with the city wanted to share a few things. I think she's on.
Yes, thank you, Kelly. I just wanted to thank you so much, everyone, for this great honor. The city of Goleta is so very proud of this park. This park truly has something for everyone, from toddlers to senior citizens and everybody in between. We joke that this park has everything but the kitchen sink. And as Kelly appropriately pointed out, we would have included that too, except we just simply ran out of room. In Old Town Goleta, where this park is located, we have no open grass areas. We have no schools with fields. We have no other large parks. So there's nowhere for kids to run, play soccer, frisbee, or even a game of tag. So the need here was huge, as Kelly emphasized in the beginning of her discussion. The residents designed this park along with Van Atta and Associates. CS Legacy, our contractor, was the calmest contractor I've ever worked with. And Kelly and her team at Philippine Engineering hit every challenge with a can-do attitude, which led to our success. Kelly mentioned 19 rain days. Just to point out, everybody was saying after that winter, we were out of the drought. So that's how wet it was that winter. So this is really important for us because the deadline tied up almost nearly $1 million worth of funding. So had we lost that, it would have been a significant hit to the city. So we appreciate everybody's can-do attitude and everybody moving to that finish line. The reason we were put in this situation was a huge battle with the state over ownership of the property, and we went back and forth for multiple years. This project started in 2011, so we had plenty of time to complete by that March 30th deadline, but that timeline squeezed really tight. As Kelly also pointed out, part of that project included a multi-purpose path. That is the bike path that will eventually extend to the north and to the south. This segment was built as part of this project. Teresa Lopes with City of Goleta is the engineer in charge of that project, and it's absolutely beautiful. You can go out there just to walk, sightsee, look at the birds, listen to the nature, and it's just a beautiful escape. So everything in this park is just amazing. The residents have really responded positively, and it is one of my favorite places to go to see all the interaction. So a big thank you for this honor, and thank you to everybody that was on our project team. It was really a group effort. So thank you.
Congratulations. And Kelly, to your point, I couldn't do any of this without the help of Amy and Julie. So it's a team effort for sure. And for all of you guys for submitting your great projects. All right, let's see. Looks like it's time for another raffle. Here we go. Amy, you're up.
You ready? Everybody hold on to your seats. We've got another $25 gift card for Old Town Barbecue in San Luis Obispo. And the winner is, one second. Ah, Leroy Cadena. Is this rigged? Congratulations, Leroy. I will.
Thank you.
I'll send you an email and get your address. All right. Thank you.
Okay, now I will flip back if I could get this. There we go. Okay. And for our next project, we have the transportation category. So this is a project in the city of San Luis Obispo, the Anholm Neighborhood Greenway Foothill Crossing. It's a mouthful. Luke Schwartz is here with the city. He'll be presenting. Lee Wilson Electric did the construction, and Doug Nelms was the inspector out on site. There was also the active transportation manager, Adam Fukushima. So a great team. Luke, go ahead and take it away.
Thanks. Hey, that's a real honor to be recognized here. This project started several years ago. It's been in our bike plan for maybe a couple decades now, but it really got legs thanks to a group of parents from local elementary schools. This intersection just north of here, there's two elementary schools, and we were getting constant kind of complaints and concerns from parents who were trying to play Frogger across Foothill Boulevard, which is a busy arterial street with speeds around 40 miles an hour, about 20,000 vehicles a day. So you can imagine it's not a real great crossing experience if you're trying to meander across with a 6 or 8 year old on a bicycle. So a group of parents took videos, filed complaints, showed up at city council meetings, and were able to get our city council to appropriate some funds to start a project. So we kind of started the planning phase as part of an overall safe routes to school plan for those two elementary schools, which identified a variety of physical improvements needed to make walking and biking to school more accessible and safer. And the highest priority project was unanimously improving crossing at this location. So we looked at a variety of options and ultimately decided, a controlled crossing, like a traffic signal, or something with that level of comfort was what we needed for the street type. But the existing conditions did not quite warrant a full traffic signal. So we looked at a pedestrian hybrid beacon as a potential design solution. To my knowledge, this was really the first location in the county that utilized a pedestrian hybrid beacon, or often called a hawk signal. And so we were excited to move forward and be kind of innovators in trying something new. We thought it was a good solution for this location. So, moving from sketch level kind of drawings as part of that plan into actually designing and implementing this project was really exciting. And so, as you mentioned, Lee Wilson Construction was our contractor on this. They had some sub-consultants that helped with some of the concrete work. We included ADA curb ramp upgrades, reconstructed a cross gutter, and to kind of level out a crossing of the side street here, which is Farini Road. Elementary school is maybe 300 or 200 yards just north of this intersection here. So this was completed last December. It was really exciting. Some challenges were, we had never programmed a controller to operate as a pedestrian hybrid beacon. We also utilized a more compact controller and cabinet that we had never tried before. So learning kind of a new, it runs on a different software, and learning the kind of programming intricacies to get this working correctly took a while. But in the end, we were really excited. One kind of unique attribute of this crossing is that this will ultimately lead to a kind of longer bicycle connection leading from this intersection, which is on the north side of town, further to the south through the LDS church property, which is just on the south here, which our next phase is constructing a shared use path through that property. And ultimately we'll have a route connecting all the way into downtown San Luis Obispo, as most of it as physically separated bikeways. So it was really cool to see this be the first phase to get people across the busy intersection. And then into the next year, we'll be moving forward with the next phases of the project. So we wanted to make sure that this worked not only as a convenient crossing for pedestrians, but that worked as a seamless crossing for bicyclists too. So we end up using some, as you can see, some high visibility green pavement markings to kind of show the bike crossing path. On the opposite end, we added a little median island and some planter boxes to physically separate cyclists at the intersection where they can hit the push button to call the signal. And also add some aesthetic value with some planters that we put some succulents in to kind of brighten up the streetscape environment. So so far we've seen pedestrian volumes, essentially triple since we put the crossing in, which is great to see. Seeing families, people of all ages and kind of physical ability levels feel comfortable crossing this busy street. So it's been a really fun project, excited to be recognized. And I just want to make sure I thank our staff that was involved, my predecessor, Jake Hudson, who was our transportation manager at the time, Jennifer Rice, Adam Fukushima, and my transportation group, and then Doug Nelms, our inspector, and Lee Wilson on the construction side. So all around, we're really happy with the outcome.
Excellent. Well, I know that's a big one for the community. So fantastic. Great job. Okay. Another raffle. Here we go.
Okay, now they're going to be all close together. Okay, so this one is Tolosa Winery. We have a wine tasting for 4. And get the winner in just a second. Just so you know, I am removing people after they win, so the chances go up every time. Oh, and it's Kelly Wheeler. Congratulations, Kelly. Okay, so I will send you an email and get your address, and we'll get this tasting certificate off to you. Thank you.
Okay, that was a lot of clicks. Here we go. Now, so that was it for our projects. And now we're on to our Professional of the Year category. We have 2 folks. We have a Young Professional of the Year and a Professional of the Year. So we did actually announce our Young Professional of the Year a couple months ago, Laura Yanez with the City of Santa Barbara, but we'll recognize you again because you are amazing. Laura is a supervising civil engineer with the city. She is extremely involved and engaged in ASCE, SHEP, National Engineers Week, and of course here at APWA. She's been involved with some really key projects with the City of Santa Barbara and instrumental in those projects. Of course, she's a Cal Poly SLO graduate. Woo. And if you've ever met her, you know that she is just a natural leader. She's an excellent communicator and really just takes to heart every project and is passionate about what she does for our community. So thank you, Laura. And if anybody else wants to say a few words, I know Linda nominated her, but Linda couldn't make it to the meeting today, Linda Szymanski. So, but if anybody would like to say a few words about Laura or in appreciation of, I know it's well deserved. Okay, well, thank you so much, Laura, for your service to our community.
Thank you. Appreciate the recognition and for APWA putting this together.
I'm just going to piggyback on that. Laura, thank you for your involvement in APWA and sharing your ELA project with our chapter. So if anybody missed that, I know National is putting on an extended event. Laura, when is that airing?
That is airing on October 8th, 10:30 a.m. I'm sorry, December 8th, 10:30 a.m. our time.
Okay, great. Okay, so our next raffle prize is a $25 gift card to Oak and Otter Brewing. And I will select a winner in just 1 second. Can you all see? Oh,
no.
Sorry. There we go. Just in time. John W. Is that John Wallace or? I'm not sure who John W. is on this this call. So if you are there, either send in a chat or speak up. If we don't hear from you by the end of the meeting, then we will respin for that.
Oh, there's a thumbs up. Maybe his audio isn't working.
All right, thank you.
Okay, here we go. And now for our final prize and award is our Professional of the Year, and long overdue in this one. We have nominated Lori Spear with Bethel Engineering, and I believe Russ is on to say a few words about Lori. I have known Lori for many years. Our kids go to the same school and are the same age. Lori is absolutely incredible and amazing and has dedicated her career to not only public works, but just to our community. So thank you, Lori. And Russ, I'll turn it over to you. I think you guys are on mute.
That's typical. You didn't tell me I was going to have to speak, but yeah, so Lori serves as the district engineer for Los Alamos Community Services District. She also does development review for the city of Lompoc, in addition to her development and that type of work that she does here at Bethel in-house. So we have the whole group behind her here, and we were glad to nominate her.
Well, congratulations, Lori. Definitely well deserved. And we were going to throw a big old party for you. We'll have to postpone that.
Need that.
All right. So I believe this is our final raffle. So this is the big grand prize. Let's see who it's going to go to.
So I actually have 2 prizes left, so I'm going to do 2 in a row here. The first one is a gift certificate for SLOCO Health in San Luis, the infrared sauna pass for 2 people. They have made some obviously COVID-friendly modifications to their facility, but they are still open and you're able to use that. I'm going to share my screen now and select a winner for that one. Okay, Ron. I only have a first name. So Ron, do you want to,
I believe that's Ron Benzel from Santa
Ron
Barbara
Benzel.
County.
Okay, excellent. So congratulations, Ron. You are the winner of a gift certificate for 2 for the infrared sauna. And our final grand prize is the Monarch Dunes 1-year Royal Rewards membership and 1-hour lesson within our DGA Golf Pro. So that goes to James Winslow. Congratulations. Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Congratulations, everyone. And thank you all for making this a fun event.
Okay, well, that brings us to a conclusion. So I would like to thank everybody for your nominations and apologize that this is long overdue, but glad we could make the most of it again. Go ahead.
Do you have the scholarship announcement?
Let's see. Okay, yes, I do. Sorry, I forgot about that one.
I just want to make sure we get that in. And Jennifer, are you on?
Yeah, I'll just start my video. Hi, guys. Yeah, so really quickly, I just want to say, so I'm Jennifer Rice, I'm the scholarship chair, and I just wanted to announce that we have selected a Cal Poly student, Blake Thomas, to be awarded a $3,000 scholarship to intern with the city of Guadalupe. Blake's a civil engineering major, and he'll be working with their public works department, providing support on water, wastewater, and stormwater. And so on behalf of APWA, I want to congratulate Blake on this opportunity, and we look forward to staying caught up with him as he has his internship and keeping us updated, and I'll share that with all the members too. So congratulations to Blake.
Awesome. Thank you, Jennifer. That's a big opportunity. Okay, and I do want to remind everybody the year is coming to an end. So start thinking now about the projects that maybe have been completed this year or are just wrapping up in construction. Those will be eligible for awards for next year. And we will be looking, Amy, is that in March or April? That's usually when we do our normal award ceremony. So we'll be looking to get that back on track and back on schedule this year again.
Hopefully. Yes. Hopefully.
In some format. We may have to do this again, but that's okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Brianna.
Thanks, Brianna and Amy.
Great presentation.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone, and congrats to the winners.